Good morning guys, and welcome to yet another vlog. It is Saturday, as you know. For us that is vlog day of the week. It's very chilly. We have a freezing fog about in the area, and we're off on a local adventure, which means we don't have to take any transport whatsoever. We can walk to our destination of today, which is probably approximately a mile away from our home. Never been there myself before. Rachel certainly has. It's crowded in some sort of mystery, and it's a special place that's in the heart of many people in the local area for what a machine at the place and what a very special guy did there. Anyway guys, more about that in a bit. We're off to have some breakfast, which is also significant to what we're doing. Catch you in a bit. Right, we have reached our destination for where we're going to have breakfast, which Rachel's certainly happy about. You're getting a free breakfast, happy days. The significance of this place is the name. It used to be the Bletchley Arms, but they renamed it in respect of what had gone on basically. Captain Ridley's shooting party was a hidden text code name for what they were about to do. So basically where we're going today, Bletchley Park, is all to do with the secret services, MI5, MI6, etc. MI1 being the term for code breaking, and Captain Ridley's shooting party here was a term that they used as a secret word for them basically to come under the disguise of night, should we say, to come and scout the area for where they were going to set up Bletchley Park. There is a little plaque on the wall. I shall show that before we go in and have our little bite to eat. Yeah, just on the front of the door here, there's just a little plaque. Obviously, I don't think this got significance. I don't think this was the actual area, but there we go. Captain Ridley shooting party. We'll go more into the actual house itself, which was owned by Sir Herbert Leon. I went to Leon School. The whole of this area was pretty much bought up by this guy back in the 1900s. He was a bonds, a dealer. I think he's part of the Liberal Party as well. Okay, breakfast has arrived. I've gone for a big breakfast, but I don't have eggs, so I've swapped that for some bacon. Rachel's gone for an American, which has got eggs, sausage, pancakes, some syrup, a bit of bacon, and obviously we have a round of toast as well. So we'll probably do some swaps in amongst that, because Rachel will certainly want my mushroom. Anyway, catch you in a bit guys. Right, fast forward 10, possibly 15 minutes after breakfast, we've made our way past Bletchley railway station. It's a short cross across the road up, I think it's Sherwood Drive, and we arrive here at Bletchley Park. Only thing I was a bit slightly disappointed with today is the fact that I would have thought something that was maybe quite trivial, but it would have been quite nice to have done this. The intention I originally had was to obtain a modern £50 note, which of course on the back of that has Alan Turing himself, which Rachel has a specimen of here. So that's the back of your current £50 note. It would have been nice, if possible, that I could have changed up some other money to a £50 note and then try and use it to gain entry to Bletchley Park, i.e. using his own face to get in here, but it wasn't to be. A bit disappointed about that, but there you go. Not sure what to make of this place as yet. I have never been here apart from a delivery many years ago. I know that Urbex has used the bit at the far end where you are not supposed to go, and they've gone round through some of the buildings, but we're going to go through the official buildings, see some of the official artifacts, the Enigma machine, the bomb, I think it's Colossus, some of the other ones, and obviously the Alan Turing story itself, how it all come about, and see if it all comes together quite nicely. It's one of them, be saying what you see while we're out here. There will be audio, there will be visual, and hopefully it'll make for an interesting vlog. Anyway guys, we'll catch you on the inside. It certainly comes across as being an eerie place. I suppose it helps that it's a really freezing fog day, so you have that element to it that sort of sends a chill down to you. As we sort of made our way through, there's like an entrance hall, and it sort of kind of tells a bit of the story, and it turns around and basically says at the end that it happened here, and this is where history was made. This spot here, the manor house over the back there, all these huts that go behind us, this is where people from ordinary walks of life come about doing their daily work for the military and private sector, etc. No one knew who they were. No one, they didn't even know someone sitting next to them what they did. It was that top secret. But this probably saved millions of lives, ended the war at least 2 to 4 years earlier than it possibly would have done otherwise, all through covert operations, deceptions, telling the enemy different stories, such as the troops were going to land at Calais as opposed to Normandy, which we know happened. And from there, these people after that went about their lives, no one knowing what an impact they made on the world. Place so significant, yet not many people know of it. I've lived here in Milton Keynes, Bletchley, a mile away from here. I'm now 52, and this is the first time I've ever been here. Perhaps it's a case that you have to be a bit more mature to come and understand what took place here. You have the church bells in the distance, and I believe that it could have been a wooded area where there is believed to be 2 silver bars from Alan Turing actually buried around here somewhere. It would have been a wooded area. There is a wooded area that used to be next to the church, so it could be there. We decided to come and have a look around the mansion area first. I believe there's garage, barn, etc. around the back of that. Now this was originally owned in the early 1900s by Sir Herbert Leon. He was synonymous in this area. I think he was a stockbroker, made his money through that. He was also a part of the Liberal Democrats Party. If you're in this area, Sir Herbert Leon is synonymous with what is now Knoll School. That was the original Leon School. I went to Leon Comprehensive, which became Sir Herbert Leon Academy. And now the great man himself died in 1926, I believe. And the military and the secretive branch of the military intelligence purchased this via coming up here under the code name of Captain Ridley's shooting party, hence the breakfast this morning at Captain Ridley's. And under the shroud of secrecy, they purchased this for about, I think it was between £4,000 and £8,000 at the time, believed to be about £400,000 in today's money. And the code breakers set up here. This room so depicts the time period. The hats, scarves, walking sticks, the way the tables are laid out, the pipe. And this would have been the office of the head of GCHQ, possibly, is it? Commander Dennison.
I remember when quite a few Americans arrived. Breakfast improved a bit because we always had marmalade or honey or something with bacon on the plate. You know, they put it all on the plate. And the Americans always like something sweet, whatever they call pancakes. And they got them, so we got them. They didn't come up very often, I don't think, but it was possible that you might be on duty when they were doing them.
James.
Rachel's looking up the significance of family names. Obviously there's no Willops there, there's no Shanahans.
But there's a couple of my maid.
There's a couple of
my maiden names.
Dorrington. There was nothing under Trigg, was there?
I haven't looked for a trig yet.
It was Truman under a different spelling.
So I think that's been her maiden name. And that's her,
Right.
I think, if I'm reading that correctly. So surname, so married or later. So at one point, she was known as Dorrington. So, and then you can click on.
It gives information.
Yeah.
Remember one sad occasion. The girl was sitting, typing away, in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden she burst out crying. And she typed the name of her fiancé's regiment, and then underneath she typed heavy losses. And she just couldn't go on with it. But that was the sort of information you got. It was rather nerve-wracking. It was also nerve-wracking to know that you knew what you knew.
Whether by U-boat, by mine, or by radar, has at present produced but meager results. If we subtract from our losses by enemy action or by the ordinary marine casualties, our gain by captures from the enemy, by new ships, or by transfers from foreign flags, we have lost, up to date, 122,000 tons. What is much more serious?
Rachel was just saying it's a bit strange in here that you have a mixture of the old turned wood with marble pillars amongst it as well. It gives you a view of something like, I don't know, walking through your likes of your museums in London, Natural History Museum, that sort of thing. It gives you that sort of vibe in here of this old stately home manor house. It truly is a beautiful place. They moved everything here when the operation got a lot bigger during the war to the huts out the back, which we'll be entering shortly.
Demonstrate their enthusiasm for the Anglo-Polish War now. Polish Foreign Minister Colonel Beck appeared on the balcony with Colonel Kinnow, British ambassador, and the crowd cheered warmly when they shook hands. Colonel Beck, addressing the crowd, said, citizens addressed the crowd with deep shoulder to shoulder, Poland and Britain will stand against aggression and injustice. Long live Poland. Long live the heroic Polish and British army.
This gives you an overview of what it would have looked like then.
Hitler has left there for the Polish front. In all the British African colonies, regular forces have been mobilized and all measures for security have been taken. In Egypt, precautions have been taken said the forces of evil had been loosed upon the world. Despite unceasing efforts to preserve the peace, the United Kingdom had become involved in a war. Canada, as a free nation of the British Commonwealth, would bring her efforts into the war voluntarily. The New Zealand government have sent telegrams informing the British government of their support, and today the acting Prime Minister of New Zealand, Mr. Fraser, broadcast to the Dominion.
you can come here and have an afternoon tea, and I think we are certainly looking at doing that in the not too distant future. Probably be something a 1940s day. We'll bring me mum up here, have an afternoon tea with tea, cake, scones, etc. Be quite cool. We've come down to the barn and the garage area. Some classic car alert. Period 1940s, 1930s. That'd obviously be your old fire pump and hold an ambulance right there. Compare them to modern day. And that would be worth a pretty penny now for sure. My dad used to sing a song about these cars years ago. And it's a Talbot Sunbeam from 1947. Tell you what, not bad condition. Obviously it's kept in here so you don't get the rust effect on it. Whether it runs now or not, probably not. No sirens on the ambulance, it's a bell at the front. Workshop. There's a lovely bike over here. It's a Norton. Good old bike in the days. I think British are predominantly known for Norton and BSA. Whereas I think the Americans probably would have had, obviously they had the Harleys later on, but I think they had mostly Indians. And that's a Packard with the suicide doors, same doors that we've got on Rachel's Mariva, called suicide doors because they open that way as opposed to opening like a standard door. So the doors, that door would open that way, that would open that way, and if a car come past and clipped it and you were standing there, it'd have your legs. That's why they're called suicide doors. This is an old courtyard which would have had barns in, so I dare say this would have been predated to your garages and your cars. This would have been your horse and cart type thing. You can see the cobblestone area there. There probably would have been horses there anchored up. A memorial to the contribution of the Polish during the Second World War when my father fought, not my father, my grandfather fought at Monte Cassino. He went up with the Buffs. The Buffs were slaughtered 2 to a penny. I think there was only a few that made it back. My grandfather was injured but went back with the Royal Fusiliers, I believe, and the Polish, and they took Monte Cassino. Great allies. All over the world where these Enigma machines would have been, it was these bomb machines, as they say, which was like a larger version of them which broke down their codes. You see, these are your Enigma machines, which were a portable device used throughout the world by all sorts of forces, and this is how they would pass the messages on. And it was the responsibility of the bomb, which is in the room behind us, would decipher that code. It's this on much grander scale.
A bomber aircraft is a straight line, from instruction to target. A soldier in the field, a naval ship, is a dot on the waves, a dot or a dash of encrypted Morse code. For the thousands of people working at Bletchley Park, the instructions, encrypted by an Enigma machine, were a series of lines, of pathways made by the code through the machine, hidden inside from the pressed key to root up bombs, guess the pathways, break the code, read the message, save the target. By 1939, these pathways were getting more complicated. British progress, hard work by the Poles, frustrated by the changes the Germans were making. In a race against time, a communications arms race, a race to save lives, the number of pathways a key press could take through an Enigma machine was greater than the number of seconds since the universe began. Yet Turing started down a path, a new approach to finding the single correct route among all the others, not working alone. One signal among many, the work of engineers and cryptographers, without computers, with logic. To build and adapt a machine, follow through the day's conquest and discount millions of impossible, leading someone on a good day back to the instructions.
Clickety-click. All those wheels whirling round, and you're just recording the stops, none of which are any use today. It's like churning blooming butter on a hot day. Eventually, though, the butter will come, and the messages can be decoded, and lots of lives will be saved. If not, probably someone's had it.
War has been going on for so long that it seems the natural state of affairs. Peace, when it comes, will take a bit of getting used to.
What about you now? I'm going to London on my next free weekend. Theatre, film, all cut price for service home. I'm going to see Sid Field and hear Zoe Gale sing. I'm going
Without Bletchley Park, there is no YouTube, no Facebook, no internet, no everything. It's the birthplace of the modern computer, and still some places you cannot gain access.
What are you doing tonight? I'm going to a recital at the Bletchley Park Choral Society.
We're now in amongst the huts, so we'll get some of the stories of what went on here.
It's really very good.
Said this was people's lives, they would live here. Just going for the Wren station there, we noticed that people would get 4 days off in 4 weeks. We spent many a time in silence, just deciphering, gathering information, and that was it, that was their lives. Many of these girls that were here would get their information and they would phone through and they didn't know where they were contacting, and years later they would probably find that it was literally a couple of 100 yards away to another hut, but they never met each other, they never knew. And so far, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's really good here. It's very interactive.
You've been here before as well, haven't you?
I have, yes.
And some of the places you hadn't even seen then. It does even come across as a maze of a place.
Yeah.
I've been to Aldermaston, which is very similar in looking to this. The only difference is you've got nuclear silo bases. You see steam coming out the ground, keeping the warheads sort of cold and whatever. But this is central intelligence basically, so it's all decipher and it's code breakers, etc. MI1 as they would have called it back in the day. Now if you think to yourself, okay, you've heard of James Bond, he comes under MI5, although realistically he's MI6, because MI5 was British intelligence, he was foreign intelligence, so realistically he's MI6. That's all part of your military intelligence. By all accounts as well, there is supposed to be, I think it's MI17, which is extraterrestrial intelligence, so we'll take that as is and see if one day we get little green men. Anyway, we're off to go and have a bite to eat in the cafeteria, and then we will continue. Catch you in a bit. Cavern of huts after huts, each probably deciphering a different code. chessboard. Used to love a game of chess with Debs or my dad. Used to hate playing against me because I would sacrifice whatever piece it was just to win. Noticed during that period of time there's a lot of pipe smoking going on as opposed to cigarettes. Unless that predominantly come across with the Americans. More code. Deciphering machines. Oh, I still haven't got a clue how they work them. I know these were typed out on these little strips here. Little codes in, they're breaking down from that. Geniuses at work.
First thing every morning.
No furnace. Now they're still going today, Altoids. Yeah, I'm not going to pull it, but look at the old power supply up there and the old fuses. Everything here is real, nothing's set or made up. Seems to work like a crossword puzzle. Different scrolls, different messages.
Hey girls, we've broken the light blue.
So we heard. I think we deserve an Oscar.
Oh, what's an Oscar?
Don't you know, Professor? I thought you university types knew everything. It's an award they give in Hollywood to the best film.
Just goes to show, they're never too old to learn.
They all make sense. The great man himself. The decipher, message encryptor, mathematic genius. Just a good man. Very simple office.
Right, yeah, I'll try the Dutch one.
periscope and the outline of a submarine are spotted by a Royal Air Force patrol aircraft in the eastern Mediterranean. This sighting will be a vital turning point at Bletchley Park. For 10 devastating months, the code breakers have been working under a complete blackout of U-boat communications. The German Navy have introduced a new layer of encryption to their Enigma machine, the fourth rotor. HMS Petard and 3 other warships are on the scene by 10 a.m. and spend the next 10 hours hunting and depth charging the U-boat. Night has fallen and the submarine is finally forced to surface after sustaining serious damage. Chaotic scenes unfold as the enemy crew start to abandon the ship. Knowing the U-boat could contain vital intelligence which could be utilized by the Allies, Teddy Fassam, the first lieutenant on Petard, and naval seaman Colin Grazier immediately leap into the sea and swim through a mass of fleeing U-boat men towards the U-559. They are followed by Navy canteen assistant Tommy Brown. Cold and wet, Fassam and Grazier board the submarine, climbing down the conning tower into the blackness below. Time is running out for the men who are frantically collecting the priceless books and documents on the U-boat. Once the U-boat is gradually filling with water, the 2 men hand various Enigma treasures to Brown, who, after exploring the engine and control room, has positioned himself on the U-boat's conning tower. Abandon ship, Brown screams, and plunges into the dark waters to be rescued by the boat crew. At that moment, the ill-fated U-boat suddenly takes in an enormous amount of water and rapidly sinks, taking Tony Fassam and Colin Grazier with it. The bodies of Fassam and Grazier were never recovered. Almost certainly they drowned, trapped in the sinking submarine. The demand for intelligence was never more closely linked to individual sacrifice, but the 2 men did not die in vain. Just 3 weeks later, the documents taken from the U-559, including the U-boat's short signal and weather signal codebooks, arrived at Bletchley Park. This pinch provided Bletchley Park codebreakers with a priceless tool to help break the 4-rotor Enigma. Within an hour of breaking sharp the U-boat code, 15 U-boat positions were identified, and Bletchley Park was able to read naval traffic and crack Enigma codes for the remainder of the war. This enabled the Admiralty to reroute the vital convoys to and from the USA, saving thousands of tons of shipping and countless lives.
The incredible navigational skill of the pigeons was a vital component in their ability to act as intelligence gatherers. It allowed Winky, Mary of Exeter, and G.I. Joe to deliver important messages that saved lives. But how do they do it? Cutting-edge science has the answer, and evidence suggests the humble pigeon is one of the most sophisticated navigators in the animal kingdom.
The animals of war. It's just something as humble as a simple pigeon. Save lives with a little message in a bowl.
Used for messages for many, many thousand years. Their fidelity to their loft site or their home is extraordinary.
But exactly, a place they've never been to before. And they can get home over a completely unfamiliar terrain. And that ability is magical in a way. That's what makes those artists incredible.
We actually have a pigeon parachute here.
It's not enough for the scientists to get clear picture of how the wartime pigeons did what they did. It's only recently that technology has enabled them to track precisely the routes that homing pigeons take.
This is your highly technical stuff. This is where I don't become quite so much a genius. There we go, gotta get the holes to match up. Yeah, so you match up the holes and get the message that way. It's clever. You kind of see this technology modern day if you go to a cash register in a supermarket and you see them put these tubes up and they shoot up. This is how they would send messages and devices around the building. Someone's keepsakes. Much love there. We have just learnt through Rachel reading the text that his name's Half Point. Nice to meet you, Half Point. Where would you go? Dream holiday destination with a little pink label. Now obviously we love Florida and Orlando, so that is about there. And we'll be back there in October. 4,000 miles away. of the most cleverest men to ever live on this earth. The guy was a genius. I've just looked to my left, I'll show you this. This is what I wanted to pay to get in with today. This is the Bank of England. This is your current £50 note. Obviously it's got the Queen's head on the other side, which will change to the King's head, but I believe Turing will stay on the back. Fitting tribute, but what happened to him never should have done. Rachel just pointed out that 60 years to the day, 4th of September 1939, that's exactly 60 years to the day before we was married. That is our wedding anniversary date. There you go, 6 degrees of separation for you. He actually became a good marathon runner in his day, and I think he just missed selection for the Olympic team. Such a precious, precious item. Alan Turing's teddy bear. Porgy. Hello, Porgy. And his wristwatch. Tankards. It's just such a sad injustice. Basically part of the boat race. My initial concept is that this was all about the Enigma machine, but this place is more about breaking the codes that were hidden within them. So these were the instruments carried around the world by the people, passing on your messages to your U-boats, to your aircrafts, to your ships, to your armies, etc. And it was the job of Bletchley Park, with the bomb and Colossus, etc., to decode these and get the hidden secret messages within them to then go on and win the war. Turing himself was a great man who many, including myself, believe was severely let down by the country at the end of the Second World War. Basically, he was convicted of indecency because, being a homosexual man, at them times our laws were of a bygone era which no longer has a place in society, and his feelings towards another man, they loved each other basically, and it all come down to a burglary. The guy that he was with, his house was burgled. They reported it to the police, it was investigated, and then they investigated the pair of them, and he was offered either a prison sentence or probation, which included chemical castration, which took away his, would you say libido?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but basically took away his desires. It changed and altered him as a man. Obviously he was a very clever man with extreme brain power. It affected that, it affected his body in many ways, but he had a sarcastic view of it, made his own fun of the law in general. Afterwards, basically, he never felt he was a free man again, and there is speculation about what happened. He did die of cyanide poisoning. There is some confusion. It's sort of, there's the three things. There's Newton's apple, there's, is it Snow White with the apple?
Yeah.
Snow White with the apple, and obviously Turing with the apple. He had a half-eaten apple, and he died of cyanide poisoning. Whether he took his own life because of what had gone on, or whether it's some other factor, I guess we will never know. And so today's vlog is going to come to an end. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed it. Have you, Rach?
I've had a good day.
What did you make of it in total?
That
we're no good at code breaking.
Yeah, that just like can't get my head around that bit.
Yeah.
But the history behind this place and how many people worked here and their stories are, even though you only get glimpses of them, is really good. And it was all real, so yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. For us, I think the admission fee would have been £24.50 each. But anybody who lives in a 10-mile radius of Bletchley Park gets in with 50% off. You just need to bring ID to prove your address. So it made it £24.50 for both of us. £24.50, and it was basically a 25 to 30 minute walk to get here this morning. So yeah, that's been good on that aspect of it. Plus your ticket lasts for a year. Yep, that's it. So they have like 1940s days that they will have here as well. So when the weather's a bit better, we've already decided we're going to come back, have a cream tea here at some point, afternoon tea here. Looks like a good idea. We'll take my mum here. The weather obviously be a bit warmer than it has been today. It has been a bit chilly with freezing fog about. But yeah, all in all, a great day, great location, great history. Not sure what's coming up next week. I fly by the seat of my pants at the best of times and come up with an idea at the last minute. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the movies. Bye for now. Take it easy. Bye.